Hello and welcome. We are taking a trip into our future with technology, but going back into the past with our morals and talking about Smart House. Smart House was released in 1999, and before we talk about anything else, can we please just talk about how this movie was directed by LeVar Burton? This LeVar Burton.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in the book, The Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow, because Reading Rainbow was fantastic. Just want to shout that out, that I love that he directed this as well. And this film is fantastic. This film is such a classic film. I've blown away the first time I saw it, and I just loved it even back then. And I still love this film very much. It has an all-star cast. We have Ryan Merriman back, who we talked about before. He was in tons of DCOMs. Luck of the Irish, like we mentioned, we've already talked about that. Katie Siegel as well, who is phenomenal. And then we also have Katie Volding, who I mentioned in Brink recently. She's not a well-known actor, but can we just talk about the fact that when I looked up her bio to find out what else she's been in, because she plays her name Katie in Brink. This role, she's a sister as well, and she plays Angie. However, if you take a look on her page, every single role she's played, except for like this one and maybe one other one, all her characters have been named Katie. Her name is Katie. What is going on with that? Does she only play roles that have her real name in it? I'm just really curious. This film is super 90s in every aesthetic that it can be. We have a house of the future because we're going into the millennium, but when we get into the house is actually really cool, and it is a very doable house in reality. I mean, we can have a projector on the wall and different things that it has, except I don't know about automated voice system doing everything it asks for. Pat is our character that Katie Siegel plays, and she is the house who turns into a housewife later on.
Pat, what's the current temperature, please? Climate control on target at 72.5 degrees. Thank you, Pat.
And it's a really cool setup. It still has important family issues because the whole purpose of them trying to win this house of the future is so Ben ends up not having to do as much and can relax, because they are a family of just the father and the son and the daughter. Their mother died a couple years ago when it took place or whatnot because they don't have a mother, and so he basically took the man of the house role because his father's off working all the time, and so he takes care of him and his sister, but he's in that predicament where he doesn't want another mother, so he is totally fine doing everything because he doesn't want his dad to remarry and basically push them out of the side. And I feel like this is an issue that we have in a lot of films that they talk about. It is an issue that happens a lot, and I think it's a cool way to tackle it because I feel like it's something a lot of kids are going through. So it's a really relatable subject, and it's a really great way that they handled that. It's a lot more fun film where they get into a whole bunch of chaos and debunkery, because after they win the house, the engineer and the maker of the house, Sarah, is a genius, and her and Ben's father hit it off, and he's trying to do everything he can to stop them.
But when Dad starts dating her, emotions run haywire.
I don't want anyone to get the idea that we need a new mom.
And Ben's not the only one threatened.
You can't be our mother, Pat. You're not real. So?
Now this smart family has to pull together to deprogram a very smart house.
And that's what's fun about it. They show what the house can do, and it's very super 90s with the music as well, because we have Mickey Mouse with the orchestra, which is also really cool, as well as we have Bewitched, which honestly was my favorite band growing up, and I would love to see them again. I'm still a Bewitched girl. Spice Girls, who cares about Spice Girls? I never got into them. Bewitched is where it's out. Just saying. And then we also have 5. Really cool music that I did appreciate and was totally into at the time. At the same time, the 90s aesthetic also had a huge 50s aesthetic within the 90s, and that's where you have Pat comes in. Pat's our housewife, and she is our stereotypical 50s housewife that everything just gets worse and worse and worse because the 50s were very outdated in their morals, and their fashion aesthetic is really cool, and their music is really cool, and their entertainment is really cool, but when it comes to morals, not really that great. We've made a lot of progress since then, so it's a really fun film. It's super enjoyable, and it's definitely one to remember, and I just really love watching it every single time. It has not become outdated for me because it's just more focused on the house and it's more focused on the comedy of it, so I think that helps its case. If you haven't seen it in a while, or if you haven't seen it at all, please go check it out because it definitely is. I feel like all of these that I've been talking about are all my classics, so I'm going to praise them all the time because they were so much better than what we have today, and I really appreciate them. I'm so glad. They really should release these onto Blu-ray DVD because that'd be fantastic. I got to see this on demand, thankfully, so you can stream it somewhere, but not all the time. But tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at another classic with Horse Sense. So stay tuned as always. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.